Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hadeen, former owner of Illustrious Hardwoods in Mesa Era, still a licensed contractor, though. I guess I still technically own it. I haven't filed the paperwork to shut it down, but I have made the decision that Floor Academy is the thing full time. So this intro is going to evolve over the next couple of weeks as I really figure out how I want to express what I am and what I'm doing these days. Right? I don't know. It's a confusing time for me, but I have made the decision that I'm shutting down the flooring business, and you all you lovely people get my full-time attention to try and better your businesses as I grow this one over here. This week, I've got Kara Allen with me of Spiegel's Flooring. Her and her husband, Jason, bought the store in 2020 in Sandy Lake, Pennsylvania. And they've been operating it. Her husband, Jason's the installer. Kara's running the store, doing the designs and managing the projects and the schedules. But they're looking to grow. And they're wondering, how do we continue to add stuff? They've got one additional crew running right now. But, to add a third, a fourth, maybe, it's not a fourth. Maybe it's a replacement for Jason and then get him off and doing purely managerial stuff, just going and looking over projects, doing the consults and keeping an eye on the day-to-day of what's happening on the projects is down the road here. So we're going to look at all of that and really try and figure out what is it that they need to implement into their business to not only find the qualified help that they need, but then hold them accountable to the standards that they want to produce from Spiegel's Flooring and keep their name and reputation where they want it to be, as opposed to, anybody comes in, does a project for them, and then they've got really upset clients because promises weren't delivered. So we've got a lot to look at. We're going to get into that in just a minute. I want to thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you like, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, share this. This is the biggest thing you can do for me. I don't have a marketing budget yet. You're my marketing team. I need you to interact with the show. If you see a post, right? If I'm putting the post out there, I need you to, leave a comment about what you thought about the episode or how you enjoyed it, right? Just something. Give me some kind of interaction, because that's going to bump it up and put it in front of more people. You can like the page. You can subscribe on your favorite app, leave a review somewhere. All of these things help push the show in front of more people. So if it's doing good things for you, let's get it in front of other people so it does good things for them. There is over 250 subscribers on YouTube now, still looking to get to 1,000. And I've got over 1,000 subscribers on Apple Podcasts, and I've had over 2,500 unique listeners on Apple Podcasts. So I know you're out there. Go over to YouTube, sign in, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for me. You can help support the show at patreon.com/Floor Academy. And even $5 a month goes a long way in helping me continue to do what I do over here. Lastly, we got a quick word from Kronos Flooring Software. So if you're looking for an easy and affordable way to manage your flooring business, Kronos Flooring Software is your solution. Streamline your workflow for managing leads, inventory, and scheduling installations. It includes every feature needed to support your business at an affordable price. It's extremely user-friendly, and it has full integration with QuickBooks Online to make tracking your profitability as easy as clicking a button. This is a customer resource manager designed by a flooring retailer for flooring retailers, because they couldn't find anything in the space that actually fit the needs and was cost friendly. So schedule your demo today at kronossoft.com, KRONUSSOFT.com. When you get that scheduled and you sit down and you talk with Chesney and she brings you through the program, let her know I sent you over. And that would be a huge favor to me. That lets them know that you're over here listening and their advertising is working. It's a really cool program, folks. It's cloud-based, so you can access it anywhere and no servers needed. And again, designed by someone in our industry for our industry. So it's got to work. All right, that's enough out of me. Kara, welcome to Floor Academy. Thank you for joining me. Why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Sure. Thanks, Kyle, for having me on. I appreciate it. Well, my husband and I are flooring store owners, of course. That's why I'm here. We have two kids, girls, teenagers, so that's always exciting. Um, it's small town living here, so that's pretty much us. I mean, we started 4 years ago with the flooring, and we've done a few odds and end things in between there. Jason's pretty much been an installer most of his life.
Okay. Well, I want to say that congrats to you, because I challenged you to do this because you were like, no, that is way outside of my comfort zone. And you're here
Still
stepping
is.
up. Yes. But you're here stepping up, and you're doing it. And so that is like the ethos of Floor Academy here, is that we've got to
Yeah,
get comfortable being uncomfortable. Otherwise we don't grow. So
that's
good for
right.
you for showing up. And I hope it inspires some others to, reach out and let's have a discussion, right? What can we talk about? How can we change your business and help you grow? So
Yeah.
you are in the store, you're managing the day to day there. Jason's out in the field. Did you inherit the crew when you picked up Spiegel's flooring and purchased it, or was
No.
that something that you acquired as you grew the business from where you picked it up at?
Yeah. Backstory to that is the crew that was working for the store previously before we purchased it. They were subcontractors, and they just, we had them go. We went our separate ways when we bought the business. They went and did their own thing. Jason had subbed for Mr. Spiegel for about, I think it was probably 5 or 6 months before we bought it. Um, and so he was working by himself. Jason was, and Mr. Spiegel wanted to sell, so that kind of worked out for us that way. And we had hired, let's see, first year we probably went through like 10 different helpers, and so then we just started kind of hand picking specific people that we trained them all to work. So Jason
Mhm.
kind of trained everybody. We have three other full-time people that work for us, whether they're helpers or installers, apprentices, whatever, they're working their way up through to be installers.
Okay.
They have no flooring experience at all
Okay. Are they,
prior to working for us.
you say they're full time, so are they employees?
Yep.
Perfect. W-2, all legit.
Oh,
You got the
we
workman's
tried this
comp
up.
on them, all of it.
Yes. Well, we
Love it.
try initially when we started. I have to turn my volume up here. Initially, when we started, we went the sub. We had Jason and a helper, and then we kind of had some subcontractors work for us, and that just wasn't working. I don't like doing business that way.
Mhm.
And then we ran into workman's comp problems. So they had their own insurance, but being that I had to pay workman's comp on a couple people, the workman's comp audit came through and said, oh no, you have to also put workman's comp on your subcontractors. I mean, I know that that's crap and you don't, but it took me 12 months to get my money back from that. I had to pay thousands of dollars
Yeah.
to put these guys on my insurance that they'd already paid insurance for. So I said, I'm not doing that again. And I don't like the subcontractor thing anyway. So I want to have my own employees. I want to make sure that I can tell them how to work and what to do and things like that. So
Good for you.
yeah.
You're in the right place. This show and my mantra is that subcontracting is the worst thing that happens in this industry. So
I
employees
agree.
are the better route. I think that we can set up better systems to keep our businesses where we want them to be and
Right.
accomplishing what we want them to accomplish. And you're going to be able to invest into people more than as a
Yeah.
subcontractor. So love it. Okay. So we've got a couple of employees. They're learning. So at this point you're running two crews, but it sounds like two of them are still kind of, they're not fully trained, but they've learned enough to get some projects done with minimal supervision.
Yeah. So I would say, aside from Jason, our other guy that's kind of our lead installer, he's done very well on hard surface, and we feel this year we've been most comfortable pretty much just letting him and the apprentice go out and do several jobs. Now, is there still lots of things that they don't know, of course, and
Mhm.
so that's when trainings. We're going to try to get everybody trained and whatever formal training. Um, but yeah, and then two of them are working their way up as well. But
Okay.
it takes a while. It takes a long time to learn this. I
Hmm.
feel.
Well, I think realistically, right? Like you could have 30 years experience and you're still going to run into that thing that you've never seen
Hmm.
before. And so more
Absolutely.
importantly is instead of, I think one thing we need to realize when we're trying to train people to build our crews up is that it's not about making sure they have every skill set to solve every problem. It's that we've
Yeah.
trained them how to solve a problem to fit industry standards. Can they creatively think through a solution to hit the standards so that they can continue the installation, and they got to know that they can pick up the phone call or the phone, right? They need to know to say, whoa, okay, this is new, this is different, let me call
Hmm.
Jason, or let me reach out to, if you're an owner operator by yourself, let me,
Yeah.
maybe I used to call Ken Ballin all the time, right? Like who are you reaching out to and trying to get advice from? And so you got to have resources, and I think that's the most important lesson next to, hey, we got to hit these standards, but when we struggle, here's how we solve that.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we got going on? So we got one guy that's pretty proficient, two people learning.
Yeah.
Um and
And
where's the store
no.
at? Like what's going on? Like there's obviously enough work to keep all four people busy right now, but you obviously feel that you still have tons of potential for growth moving forward, that if you turn the marketing up a notch or whatever it is you need to do, that you're going to produce enough work to keep two more mouths completely
Yeah.
fed.
I think so. I think but then my question would be, how far out on an average on your schedule do you be before you think about hire another crew or bring this people on? And so, I've been struggling back and forth with this all the time. In the flooring industry, of course, you have lows and highs, and sometimes you're 8 weeks out, sometimes you're 3 weeks out. But,
Mm-hmm.
if you're averaging, a couple months out, I think it's probably time to think about maybe more help.
I would
So,
agree. I mean, I think a safe place is 4 to 6 weeks.
yeah.
That's if you're struggling to find projects within that time frame, that it's you're probably not doing your marketing right.
Yeah.
If you can get to being, 8 to 12 was always really nice, but that's when
Hmm.
I started getting a lot of rejection, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's
Yep.
a really long time to wait." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, but it's me. Like you gotta, if you really
Yeah.
want it, like this is the way to go." Right. And then you
Right.
got to come up with a whole different pitch. And so I think 4 to 6 weeks is really that sweet spot. And so if you can keep it
Yeah.
there and you're still having to, like, you're having people reject you because you're telling them, like, look, I'm 8 weeks out. You got to wait. I don't have the crew. It's going to be till then. That's when you kind of know, like, okay, I can find a way to do this. And is it getting, there's also the matter of trying to figure out with Jason, like, can I put a third person on a crew? Like,
Mhm.
is it, can I start getting someone trained so that they're learning these skills and they're not in the way completely and slowing us down, but they're actually speeding us up so that we can get ahead by half a week, and then we
Yeah.
can tackle, what would that be? That'd be 26 more projects a year because you got sped up half a week by hiring on that person. And so I think there's some conversations to be had there of, is that the way to go? Or is it that one of the new apprentices and you're a year out because like, if you don't want to hire somebody that has the skill set, they have to develop it, and then
Mhm.
you have to be able to trust them not only to do it, but that they're good at training. And not everyone's a great teacher, so maybe they have to go out
No,
and
no,
operate
for
on
sure.
their own for a while while Jason trains up somebody else to hand over.
Mhm.
And that's like, so where do you feel that's a lot, but where do you kind of feel that whole situation is? Like, what is it actually that you're looking to do? Do you want to hire somebody with a skill set, or do you want to train everybody in-house slowly and surely?
Well, I would love to train everybody the way, every installer thinks they're the best. And so I would love to say, yeah, we're going to train them because this is the way we do it. We really like the way we do it, et cetera, et cetera. But I need somebody that knows what the heck they're doing, at least a little bit. I need somebody that can be like, oh yeah, I know how to level a subfloor. I
Mm-hmm.
know how to, you know, I can't have all helpers and one or two installers. I have to have somebody that can go out and take lead on some of the stuff.
Okay. So you need to
And
hire
that's where we
someone
struggle to
that's
find.
okay. So what is it that I think what happens is a lot of times this is the ad I see, right? It's need help, looking for installation crew or installer. Great environment, tons of work, pay well.
Yeah.
That's the ad. Cool. What do you actually want? What do you really want out of an installer? What do you need? What are the values you want to see? What is the skill set you want to see? Break that down for me. What do you need?
If I had like some magical wand that I could make it and that I could make the employee walk in and that's what they're gonna give me would be somebody who's proficient, but also I need somebody that's really detail oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Not just somebody I was an installer for Lowe's for 20 years. I can do anything. I don't really care about that. But can you, put a seam and pattern carpet? What happens when you tear up the floor and there's all these missing pieces to the subfloor? What are you going to do? Like, I need someone that can think on their feet and that can give just a really good install. I don't care how fast. I don't care how many square feet you can put down in a day. I just don't care. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to know if it's done really, really well. And so
Okay.
but to find that is kind of not, it's asking a lot, I think.
I don't. You're asking for what should be displayed. It's just most
Yeah.
people don't have that skill set because this industry has been run into the damn gutter. But I
Right.
think why isn't that in your ad? Why isn't it like I just saw your ad that you posted, right? So like why isn't that in there, right? Why aren't you looking for a critical thinker, someone that's proficient, has time management, and can critically think about abstract solutions to problems? None of
Mm-hmm.
that was in there, but that's exactly what you're looking for. But you just asked for an
Right.
installer.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
know.
I think like if you go right up, one of the best ways that I've seen doing it lately is what I'm challenging people to do is if you hire on an employee, you should have a job description. Any major business has a job description, right? So write out
Yes.
that job description of what you want a full-time installer to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then write your ad based on that because you're going to put in all of the values and all of the actual skills that you want them to have. And then you can write the ad to say, I need this
Right.
person. And now they can read it and say, oh, that's me or that's not me. And I want to go and apply. And maybe you get far less people applying, but you should get
Yeah.
a higher caliber coming in. But it also gives you that when you have that, when they come in, you can do a formal interview and you have questions to actually ask as opposed to like, what's your experience? How long you been doing it? Who'd you work
Right.
for? Right. Now I can ask questions based on the skill sets I'm looking for to be able to see how they answer them and what's their body language say, what's the pause that they have before thinking about the answer say, can I tell they're bullshitting me? Right. I could do a quality interview and get a much better feel for the person as opposed to, the standard way is, and I'm sure Jason's done this, is you guys put out an ad looking for help, somebody shows up and you're like, well, warm body, let's throw you in the mix and we'll try you for a couple days. And
Yeah.
then everything goes sideways and you're just like, oh my God, like how does it, because you're just throwing anybody in, right? Like we
Yeah.
didn't even find anything out about them before we put them into place. So when you can actually have standards, because let me ask you that question: does Spiegel's flooring under Jason and Kara have core values? Are they defined, written out, and everybody knows them? This is our non-negotiables for this company.
Actually, we've heard several seminars on doing this. We've done like the broadloom boot camps and all
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. And so that's our yearly goal to do this.
Okay.
Is to make the core values for the business. I mean, I can tell you some stuff and he can tell you some stuff. Maybe they're not the same. So we're trying to collaborate those and come up with it and put that in our employee handbook, just so that, whoever is with us at any point in time will read that and see that when they're hired.
Yeah. Well, and I would put
So
them.
yeah, that's definitely our goal for this year.
Okay, and I would put them up in the back where the guys meet in the morning, whatever. Like they got to be
Yeah.
seen, right? I'd put them on your wall in the showroom. They're in the employee handbook. I would have weekly meetings about them. Honestly, it was one of the biggest things I've seen is that we all set up these small businesses, and it's like, well, I know how to do a skill. I'm just going to go sell it, and
Yeah.
then everyone wonders why nothing happens, and you constantly compromise and get yourself in these bad situations. You take projects that aren't that aren't a good fit for you.
Hmm.
But had you defined what this was, with 6, 8 at the most, probably core values, you can better align yourself with the direction you want to go because you have something to hold yourself accountable to. Or what I hear a lot is, oh, everybody knows them. Like third generation family business. Everybody knows them. We're good. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll challenge them. I'm like, go ask your dad what he thinks they are and
Hmm.
have him define them. And then go talk to your sister and ask her what they are and have her define them.
Yeah.
And they're all close, but they're not the same. And that's what
Hmm.
matters, because integrity to you and integrity to me will be very close, but they're not the same.
Right. Yeah.
And so if we're not on the same page, now how do I hold people accountable? Because they're operating under their own interpretation of that word, right? So it's
Hmm.
not just about coming up with what the core value is. It's about coming up with this is Spiegel's flooring definition of this core value, and we operate by this definition, not yours. But then
Yeah.
when you interview on those, and everyone knows them, so much cleaner. And then we don't end up in the situation where, in fact, one of the mastermind group members is he's trying to hire a sand and finish guy right now, and he got two recommendations. One of the guys said that, like, hey, this guy's really good. He'll be a good fit for you. The other one said he'll be a good fit, but he's late all the time, and he was late to the interview. He called him. He was
Ooh.
like, man, I wrong location. I'm sorry. I screwed up. I'll be there. Da, da. He was like, don't worry about it. Don't even come in. You're already fired.
That's right.
But it's because he had recently defined his core values within the past couple of months. And he was like, nah, man, this isn't even going to work. Like, you already screwed up and don't fit. I'm not going to
Yeah.
waste my time. And that was huge, because I was like, I asked him to be honest. I was like, dude, be honest. Like, for real. We just had the meeting last night, and I was like, you'd have hired him 3 months ago, wouldn't you? He was like, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's crazy.
It's so difficult. And, I used to do this for a living. I used to be in HR before I started this. And so I would hire people and fire people or whatever. But right now, just to get someone to come to an interview, I'd be happy. No matter what the ad was. Like I can't even get somebody to answer an ad or to show up to an interview. So I'm still dealing with that, let alone trying to find the specific person.
I think if you, this is where I think putting in those values that you're looking for, right? We have this kind of an environment. Everyone just assumes you're just another mom and pop shop run like every other
Yeah.
mom and pop shop. What makes you different, right? Hey, I want to have you as an employee. I want to offer you a 401k plan or an IRA. I want you to have paid holidays. Like, these are all things that are way different. What is the pay level, right? Like, let me know that, I think there's a lot of places out there that are like, I'll pay a lead installer $25 an hour. Whoop-de-doo. Like, that's nothing. I can go make way better money in plenty of I can make $25 an hour selling my own projects very, very poorly. You're gonna have to pay me better than that, right? Like, if as a business I need to make 100, that means as an installer, as a lead installer providing everything, I need to make 50. So if you're gonna provide me with all the tools and whatnot, I still got to be probably upwards of 35, which I know by the time you add all your costs, that's probably close to $50 an hour. So having some of that stuff in there, and I think really clearly communicating what you're looking for and what the environment's like, is going to be the difference, as opposed to, we're looking for an installer. What does that mean? Like, do you need a hard
True.
surface installer? Do you need a carpet installer? Do they need to be well-rounded in all of it? Are you just looking for a person to do showers? What exactly? Get specific with me, because it's not working the other way. where it's vague.
Right.
So now let's try and dial it in. The other thing I would look at is that, again, I think it is hard to find quality people, but maybe there's somebody that you can meet local that is sick of going out on their own, and they're ready to like hang it up, and it employs a better fit. Or what's it look like to try and offer a small relocation package, right? And I'll give you a $2,000 moving allowance.
Did you
And
Google Cindy Lake?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you Google our location? Nobody's moving here, Kyle.
Well, I didn't, but why not? If it's that small of a town, it's got to be great. Small towns are cute.
Great.
It's got to be charming, right?
Oh yeah, it's charming. It's cute. I mean, that's why we're here, But I'm just teasing. But no, I think you're right. I think being specific in what you need, and rather than a generalization, is way better.
And then is there anything you can do with Jason? I don't know that enough shops, that especially ones that want to hire employees instead of subcontractors could absolutely reject to this, and not, you don't really have any recourse. But as a company that wants to hire employees, set up a box in the back. Make them come and do a skill proficiency test. Tell them you'll pay them for the hour or two, right? Hey, I want to see you seam carpet. I want to see you install this laminate.
We've actually taken them out on jobs. Sorry.
Okay. No, I mean that's one way to do it. But even before that, like, why? Like, you can have them do it in the back as part of a form. I think there's an interview process with you as the project manager and the person that's going to be sending these people into the client's home. And I think that's like layer one, right? I'm going to pick some good candidates. But then layer two is, all right, now you got to go impress the guy that actually handles the installs, and he's going to sign off that, okay, you know your stuff, and are you coachable? I think that's a great moment. He can catch things and say, okay, why'd you do it that way? Tell me. Well, industry standard says to do it this way, or we like to do it this way around here. Like, and then how do they take that feedback? Are they actually coachable? Do they want to learn, or are they just another guy that's going to be saying, I've been doing it 20 years. I don't care. Because that's not gonna work. I know that. Not in a mom and pop shop that's looking to grow. That's just not gonna work for you guys.
Right.
So is there, how do we set that process up and get them involved? Do we pay them to come and spend the hour with us, or the 2 hours with us once we've qualified them as a actual good candidate? What skill sets are we looking for them to fulfill? And can he design like small, quick little tests that they can have to put together an 8x8 couple of plywood sheets of carpet within a box, or install some laminate real quick, and show that they can proficiently make cuts or use the tools or whatever it is, right? I think that there's something within that, and that'll throw people for a loop, because that's not the standard. It's always, hey, just come on out, we'll test you. But you bring somebody into the house and now they're drinking in front of a client, or they're, doing something to not the standards that you want, and you got to rip it all out and fix it. And no one's got time for that.
No. Nobody wants that reputation either. You gotta, it's terrifying hiring employees.
It is. Well, look, people are the hardest part of the business. It's not finding the work. It's not doing the work.
Right.
It's finding the people. But I think finding the people is hard, is because we don't know who we're looking for. But that's why I've challenged you. Like, I think if you define who you actually want, I don't think you're going to get ideal, right? We're not going to hit 100%, but can we get 95? Can we get 80? Even 85% is going to be better than probably where you're at right now. What do you feel? What, the matches that you've gotten so far, where do you feel you're at? Like 60, 70?
Well, we just did an interview recently, Sunday or something like that. We met with him. He's a nice guy, but he's also 62. So
that's common.
And not, that's nothing wrong with that. I just know that that's not long-term for my business for him, and yeah, he's might have been doing it for a long time, and he'd be great maybe to bring on to help train or something like that. But right now I have piles and piles of work to do, so I need someone that can do some of these piles of work to do.
That was going to be my answer was, okay, he's 62. He's going to need somewhere to move in a company because he can't install forever. But if he can do some
Yep.
work now, is he good at training? Can he fit within Jason's system, and then can he teach somebody younger, and is he willing to do that?
Yeah.
That might be a good longer term fit. You can get work out of him for a couple
Yep.
years while he brings up that next generation.
Yeah, that's
So,
what that's my thoughts is we're gonna, we're gonna talk to him some more. And we've always decided lately, we've always said it's not going to be a one interview thing. We're going to have coffee and we're going to have an interview. We're going to talk
mhm.
a couple times and go from there and see if it works out, and like, maybe do some test runs or something like that. But definitely need someone to train these guys,
Yeah.
someone that they can take a helper out every day and let them install it. Unfortunately, Jason, he's really set in his ways. And so when he takes a helper out, he's installing as fast as the helper can bring stuff to him and back to the truck.
So,
So there's no
okay.
teaching.
I don't know how long you've listened to the show. I hate the word helper. We don't use it around here.
Apprentice?
Apprentice. Correct. But
Yes.
this is the problem, right? Is Jason wants a helper. You're saying he's installing as fast as they can dish him out material.
Right.
He's That's the problem. He's got to
Yes.
change his mindset to I need an apprentice. I have to train them to replace me.
Yeah. And he's slowly working on himself. So if you were to ask Jason to strictly talk about installation stuff, this past probably, I would say year and a
Mhm.
half, he's been doing really a better job of, all right, I'm going to let these guys try to install these stairs. I'm going to do it, sometimes
Mhm.
halfway through the job, he like will just step in and finish it because he gets frustrated, which, we talk about, and he gets mad. I get mad, it's a married couple doing a business, right?
Mhm.
And then he's like, all right, we'll let these guys go do it, and I'm just gonna. He calls it bucket sitting. I'm gonna sit on this bucket. I'm gonna watch them and help them and train them and stuff, and they do a great job. If he's a good teacher if
Mhm.
he would allow himself to do that more, but he's
That's
also strictly installation. So
Yes. Well, and that's one of the things I learned was I started taking the approach of, okay, I've taught you enough of the skills.
yeah,
You lead me. I'm now your apprentice. You're the
right,
installer. You tell me what you need, right? And I would have them, they'd have to go up to the door in the morning, the day we start the project. And it's all
yeah,
yours, man. You introduce us. You find out what we're doing in the house. You find
right,
out where we're going to start. You tell me what tools you need. I'll go get them all. You start ripping stuff out. Like, let them dictate it because that's going to show you where the lack of training exists within your program so far
yeah,
because they're like they get stuck and they're like I don't know what to do. They're going to tell you exactly where you screwed up. And that's where
yeah,
you're like, "Oh, okay, I need to train you more on these things." Okay, so we'll
yeah,
hit X, Y, and Z. It also helps you document what this program is because it should be formalized because we're going to get everyone through faster when everyone's on the same page.
yeah,
And I think a lot of times people are like, oh, I got to come up with these job descriptions and I got to write this training manual. I'm going to tell you what, this is the shortcut. Why aren't you having the trainee do that stuff? All you're doing is dictating to them all day. We,
right,
we probably all should have learned in school that when we write something and we hear something and we see something, we learn it better because we're taking it in three different modes. So here's a notebook, Mr. Apprentice. Here's a pen. I'm going to explain a bunch of stuff to you. I want you to write it all down.
yeah,
Here's the
yeah,
steps of how we do this. Now they've written it down. All you got to go do is go type it up back up at night and you start your training manual. And now the next time I go through, I've already got all the steps and I can give it to this older gentleman we're going to hire and say, here's our process. Follow this. This is how we train around here. And everyone's
yeah,
on the same page. Everyone gets the same standards. Because that's the biggest worry, right? Is that you train one person and then I get it. It's flooring. Like there's more than one way to skin a cat. So we all kind of come up with our ways of doing things.
mhm,
And they're all pretty close, but I need it to be as close to the standard as possible. Otherwise, it's going to get too far off. So Jason trains Bob, and Bob trains Timmy, and Timmy trains Jim. And Jim's way off in his own world, not doing anything like Jason. That's bad. And that's not what we need, right? So we have to come up with a system to keep everyone on the same page. But oh, it's so hard. It's going to take so much time. No, it's not. They're going to do it. You're paying them, and they're not going to move fast anyways. Make them do it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to interrupt this real quick. What do we got? We got a word from Johns Manville. Compatible with all GoBoard products is the new GoBoard membrane. If you're asking why a membrane when GoBoard itself is waterproof through and through, the answer is simple. A membrane extends your GoBoard installation for mud pans, steam rooms, and shared walls requiring a fire-rated board under the waterproofing. Now who's going to be the most badass installer out there? You are. Visit www.jm.com/GoBoard for all the product details. Don't forget about their really lenient solutions for which sealants you can use with their products and their generous warranty. And go check out what do they got? They got those wedges. They got the shower pan. They got the board. You can get 2-inch boards so you can build out your walls and stuff. You just got to go to your local distributor of GoBoard and bother them to bring some in for you. They got options for you, folks. Go check them out. Again, it's jm.com/GoBoard. All right, Kara. So, I mean, what is all of this? I see you taking notes over there, but like, what is all of this, making you think? Like, where do you want to take Spiegel's flooring now, and what do you need to go challenge Jason to and get him on the same page with? Because I know it's a challenge. It's not even like, hey, let's have this friendly discussion. I know it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I guess I need to maybe broaden my reach of area that I'm looking for an employee as well.
Okay.
Whether that be for instance, is Facebook. If I put it on Facebook, maybe broaden my reach as far as maybe an ad to take that out. Because maybe I'm just not looking out far enough, like you said, maybe relocation or something like that. Also, putting some of we need to get our core values together first, I think, before we even hire. Like, I think we need to get our house in order before we add more people too. And maybe look for somebody very specific instead of just an installer. Maybe I would look for a carpet installer. Mm-hmm. That seems to be where we struggled the most. Jason is his favorite thing to install is carpet. And so if I'm going to try to add an installer or specifically hire somebody that can do carpet. So be more specific on my interview process and an application process.
Okay.
First, I mean, that would be the first thing I would want to do would be specifically somebody that can do carpet.
I think, from the discussion, I think you're dead on. And it's the fact you said I have to get our house in order first is huge. It's one of the biggest problems I see is that people want to grow and they want to grow and they want to grow. And then the problems get larger and larger and larger. And the best way I found to describe it is that a small business, right, especially the size that I am, I'm just an owner operator. So I'm in a kayak in my local pond down the street that's like 1 acre big, right? And so I can put my paddle in the water and dip it and put a little force behind it. And I've spun 180 lickety split. There's nothing stopping me from doing it. We add some employees, we add a showroom, it gets a little more complicated. Maybe we're in like the bass boat now.
Yeah. And
so you're not in a position where it's hard to pivot, but it takes a little more work. But I see companies that are 20, 30 people deep, multi-million dollars. And it's like, they're not an ocean liner yet, but they're out there as, a 40, 50 foot yacht.
Yeah.
You don't spin those around on a dime. It takes some time to like get everybody communicated to of, hey, you got to go do this, go deal with that rigging over there and drop the anchor over here. And somebody's got to steer the damn boat and start turning it. And, there's a lot that needs to happen to get it to go a new direction. And then everyone gets frustrated because it's not happening fast enough. And so
Yeah.
if we, you're right. If you get everything in order now, it's less to fight later and there's less issues to run into because we know how we handle situations. We know what we stand behind. We have the manuals in place. I like that you said you had the employee handbook. I think that's huge. That's
Yeah.
lacking in many businesses to where it's like, well, what's our time off policy? We just talk. No, what's our time off policy so that everyone knows you get so many days a year, and if you go over them, you're SOL. Like it's
Right.
just not going to work, or they're unpaid, unexcused. You're at risk of being terminated. Like, what's the actual policy? What's the policy on drugs? What's the policy on showing up late? What's the policy on footwear and clothing?
Yeah.
And so it all sounds ridiculous, I know. But you know what's not ridiculous is that you went and filed some paperwork that says I own an actual LLC in a business and you're treating it like it's willy nilly. You can do whatever you want. You don't even,
Hmm.
if you're not going to understand that you have an actual business and it needs to be treated as such, go work for someone. You're better. Go work for Kara. She'll take care of you because she wants to run the business. She doesn't want
Yeah.
to own a job.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely, like, when we first bought the business, we changed it so much. I mean, already. So in those 4 years, we've done major transitioning. We bought a building, we renovated that for our showroom. We went from, an old crappy van to a nice big box truck and a brand new van, and we did a lot in 4 years, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, and there's so much more to go. And sometimes we think, oh, we're doing just fine where we are. We'll just keep muddling through. And usually it's me. I'm the like, hey, go bigger, bigger, bigger. Um, but we've probably done 4 times the business is what it ever has before we
Okay.
got it. And so, we are growing and I like it going that way. So it's just, I don't want to, I never want that stalemate, I guess.
And I don't think
But
you have to settle for that, right? But we have to, like, we can outgrow where we should be. Like, it's not about stagnating the growth. It's just about managing it better as it comes.
yes, yes,
And I think you're on the right page, right? You're looking for resources, you're finding people to talk to build what it is you want, and you're trying to put these pieces together and figure out what to do instead of just saying, again, I think a lot of times it's I can handle more, I'll just add more people. If you don't know what those people are doing and you can't hold them accountable, now you just got this big bowl of spaghetti that's all intertwined and it's a hot mess. And how much time are we wasting by people doubling up on work or not knowing clearly what's going on? And so
yes,
I think you're on the right track. I think you're in a great position, and you're asking the right questions to be able to build out what you want, and you're going to go find it. And if you can't find it, you're going to create the opportunity to make it. The other thing I would say is I've challenged a lot of companies to, what can you do with like your local high school to get
yeah,
involved, right? Can Jason find some time to go over there? And if they don't have a shop class of any type, how can he find a way to get in front of the kids there and at least expose them to it? They don't even know flooring's an option, right?
that's what I say all the time.
They don't. You want to know what kids know is an option? Roofer, painter, construction worker on the side of the road. Like, these are things you can see when you're stuck in the back of mom and dad's car and you drive around on a road,
Yeah,
right? That stuff you can see. They don't see flooring installer every day. They don't see tile installer every day. And so if you're not going to go put it in front of them, then it's no wonder they're not walking into your store begging for the opportunity. And so where can you find a way to enter the community and better it, but bring something back from it, right? Like, I'm going to invest in the community knowing that it's going to come back my direction. If he goes and finds a way to work at the local high school, once a month for the next 4 years, and in 4 years, one kid a year starts showing up at the door asking for an apprenticeship, you're set. That's all you
Hmm.
need. And even if it's one every couple of years, like I think that investment would pay for itself because you'd have enough people coming in if they were serious about it and they stuck around that you'd be able to grow the business from there.
Right. I agree. I think teenagers, kids who are graduating high school, they kind of get a bad rap. You know, if you talk to anybody, they're gonna say, "Oh, kids don't know anything anymore. They don't want to work. They, this
Uh-huh.
whole thing." And it's like, yeah, maybe they don't, but a lot of them just don't know. You know, they're
Mm-hmm.
stuck in their little world of their friends and stuff, and they don't know that, like you said, flooring is a thing. Oh, you can like sanding and refinishing is a sure. You can
Mm-hmm.
tile shower, sure, but they just don't know. And you can ask a grown adult, they don't even know a flooring store exists.
Yeah.
They don't
No.
know you can walk into Spiegel's flooring and buy these beautiful rugs and floors and things like that. They just know that the box store exists. And so that's all they know.
Yep.
Just like a kid doesn't know that you can go out and do that for a living and it's a good living. And it's just a
Exactly.
matter of talking to them.
I think we take it for granted because our kids see it. We're like, oh, everybody knows it exists, right? Our kids only see it because that's what we do. And kids aren't
Right.
lazy. Look, I've got my son's 14. He swims 2.5 hours 5 days a week, nonstop. That ain't lazy. This kid is
No.
is like getting to the point where he's really toned. He's starting to develop muscle, so he's going to get super ripped. I'm way jealous of his body because I never looked like that. But like he's reached a point where he's doing competitive swim and he's like, I want it now, and he's gonna go after it, and he's wanting it as opposed to mom and dad pushing him to go get it, right? And so he's kind
Yep.
of finding that thing that he's excited about, but he had to have the opportunity. We went through a couple of things before this like was what was settled on. And so they're not lazy. They just don't know what
No.
their options are, and no one's presenting them to them. And so all they have is TikTok and video games
Mhm.
because no one ever gave them anything else. Go be the change you want to see, and
Yeah.
then I'll let you complain about the problem. But if you're not going to do something about the problem, shut up. You
Yeah.
don't have any room to talk because you're not trying to fix it. So
I agree.
I think that you've got, there's opportunities there. I'm really big on just small businesses getting involved in the community. You've got a store. What can you do to draw awareness there? Is there a way that you could set up some really easy boxes and let the kids come in and install some flooring for fun on weekends? Steal from Home Depot, man. Home Depot is brainwashing these kids with these birdhouses and these paint projects and all these little things you get to do once a month on Saturday. Why doesn't Spiegel's Flooring have that? Why aren't we getting the
Good idea.
community
Do
in,
some
right? You
community
can
outreach or something like that.
correct. It's super cheap. It's a way to give back, right? Again, I can go to Home Depot and I can learn how to install a backsplash. Have Jason teach a
Right.
backsplash instant. Oh, I don't want to. I'm going to lose clients. Anybody that wants to DIY wasn't your client to begin with. They're going to figure it
Exactly.
out. You might as well let them know to do it the correct way and sell them the material as opposed to have none of it. And then maybe
Yep.
they get halfway through it and say, man, this sucks. Let me call the guy and have him fix it. Right. So now
Yeah.
we're going to gain business that way. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm all about it. I've had two stores take my advice. They bring Santa in and
Mhm.
they set up pictures. They have like a local photographer come in. That's new, right? Find like some young kid that takes pictures and pay him, like $100 for the night. So everyone gets pictures with Santa. Santa reads a couple of stories. You get hot cocoa. Everyone sits, relaxes, but it gets people in your store. And I'm like, don't talk about flooring. If a parent comes up to you and they want to know about flooring, you tell them I'm open Monday through Friday or whatever your hours. These are my hours. I will talk about it then. Right
Yeah.
now, go enjoy your kids and Santa. And like, that's what we're here for, right? Make it about the moment and provide something special. You can have the Easter bunny come in. You can do, there's all kinds of options. If you have a small warehouse space, I'm assuming because you're running multiple, you got a couple crews in a store,
Mhm.
be the location that you bring in all your local reps for, right? Have them like call up your Lady Crete rep or your Show Knox rep, Utzen rep, Artex, like whoever, pick a manufacturer, Loba, Bona, pick a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Work with your local rep, have them use your warehouse as a training facility, right? Let them come and demo all their wares like they do at distributors, and make yourself the central location. All the installers are going to come and hang out by you. You want to meet installers, don't you? You need them. You might as well bring them to your store and provide the education, and then they're going to get a free breakfast, and you can say, hey, we're always looking to hire. If you ever, looking to, shut things down, or, maybe we have the odd end that we want to sub out occasionally. Happy to talk.
Right.
But if you become the hub and everyone needs Spiegel's flooring.
Right. Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, it goes hand in hand with, advertising not only for your store, but also to get installers to, and working with your towns. Like you said, we kind of do the same thing. We have a Christmas magic in our town, and everybody comes to the store, and we have food and all this whole stuff. And
Okay.
I'm ahead of like a committee that we do a fair type thing in the park, and so Spiegel's is always out there doing something. And that, when you said that about doing backsplash, that might be a fun thing for the kids at community days. You set up a little wall, and they can slap on some mortar and some tile and just see what that's like, and just
Exactly.
as a 10-year-old, get that in your head to say, hey, this is fun.
Correct. Let them experience what is out there. Show them this is an option. Hey, this is fun, right? Maybe we can find a way to build some like really easy mosaics,
right?
And they can get super creative and make a smiley face or whatever, and then come and pick it up later. Tons of options, but that's the thing. That's what everyone is missing, is that community involvement. We all want the people to come in and beg us to work for us, but we're not doing anything to show them that we care about them. And at the end of the day, we got to be about people. If you're just about the money, it's not going to come. If you make it about people, the money will follow.
Right.
Well, that's where I'm at. I think we can cut it there, but is there anything you want to add, or questions you have, or insights? What do you got for me, Kara?
I can't think of anything right now. I think that, I took away a lot of it. I took a lot of notes and things like that I think I'll be able to implement in my business, and hopefully others in theirs that are struggling with the same thing. So,
okay. Yeah. I want to follow up. I want to see where we're at in like 6 months. And so, let's stay in touch in the Floor Academy group. Let's see updates. Like if you get this job description together, I'd love to like post that up, and let's see what's going on with that. And, maybe you get some feedback, make some changes, but let's follow this journey.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. That's going to do it for us this week, folks. Again, head on over to patreon.com/Floor Academy. $5 a month helps a lot in me doing what I do. It keeps the content flowing out to you. You can visit flooracademypod.com, and we got all kinds of fun files over there. If you're wondering what you need to charge, the best tool over there is the business budgeting worksheet. It's going to calculate out what your day rate should be based on your actual overhead expenses. And I won't even say almost, I guarantee you it's more than what you think it is. It's more. You're not charging enough, and you need to charge more. And the benefit to this is when you know what you actually have to charge, the confidence you have when you're asked for a discount is disgusting. And you can look that potential client in the eye and you can say, no, that's the price. And it feels so good, because you're going to learn how to sell on the value you're actually providing, instead of trying to sell to just get a project so that you can pay the bills at the end of the week. And when you have a little bit of extra money and you can build up that FU bank account, go back to the beginning of the year, listen to that FU bank account episode with Shane Hubenegg. You get that FU bank account set up, and man, you are sky high, because you're safe. You're not struggling anymore. And it starts by knowing what you need to charge and setting aside $1, $5, $10, letting it grow. And slowly but surely you will get where you need to go. Lastly, a quick word from Surfaces. I just got back. I got sick while I was there. The episodes will be coming out from that. I apologize for my voice in advance. It's pretty brutal. So let's see here. I was just at Surfaces in Vegas, it was packed with products and amazing exhibitors. Whether you were at the event or if you unfortunately missed it, the Tice team has released a lookbook covering a highlight of over 100 products that were featured at the show. You can access it now online at intlsurfaceevent.com/lookbook or click the link in the show notes, and that'll get you over there and you can catch up on what you missed. Don't miss it next year. We all know when it's coming. It's late January. Put it on your calendar now. Let's all meet up and enjoy the show together, network, meet new people, see the new products, and take our businesses to the next level because of all of the great education we can get while we're at the show. Again, thank you, Kara. I very much appreciate your time, and we will catch you all next week.